In this video, I'm breaking down 3 different ways to start passion twist: the wrapping method, the braid method, and the rubber band method. So you can choose what works best for you when you are creating passion twist.
The first method I'm going to be teaching you today is the wrapping method. The first thing we want to do here is part the section. If you're curious as to how to part for passion twist, please go watch our how to part for different braid size on our channel. The same method applies for this. For the purpose of today's video, I will be showing you medium size passion twist. We'll be using 2 strands of the water wave curly extension for 1 braid for medium size passion twist. For the wrapping method, the first thing you want to do is braid the divided section to about 1 inch. Make sure that the root is firm, not too tight, but firm enough to hold the braid. The next thing you want to do is make sure that you align the coils of the 2 strands in the same direction and you braid in the same direction of your coil pattern. So for the purpose of this video, we are going to be twisting to the left. If you're wondering how to know whether to twist to the left or to twist to the right, I have made a video on my channel. Please watch the video attached to the description link just to understand how to align your coil pattern. But for this video, I'm just showing you 3 ways to start. For the wrapping method, I'm going to insert. You need to insert your crochet on the back. When you insert, then you need to put your extension on the loop, on the latch loop. You close the loop and then you're going to pull. As you're pulling, you want to pull the right strand through. Make sure you're holding this with your index finger and your thumb and you're pulling the right strand through. So you want to make sure that when you pull, you still have your coil pattern aligned in the same direction. You hold this down and you pull your right strand. Now you pull your right strand. Next thing you want to make sure is that you want to ensure that the length of the 4 strands are equal. If there's any one that isn't equal, you have to align. Next thing you want to do is take a bit of hair from one of the strands on the right hand side and we're going to take a little bit less than half. So after we've separated our wrapping piece from one of the strands on the right hand side, we will start twisting to the left. We're twisting to the left because the coil pattern of this hair is to the left, so we want to make sure we have that bouncy and juicy twist. So we're twisting in the same direction of our coil, which is to the left. So in creating the wrap method, I like to wrap about 6 to 8 times. So this is our first wrap, our second wrap. As you wrap, you need to hold the root firmly. Our third wrap, our 4th wrap. You see how I'm holding down on the base? Just because I want the wrap to be firm. This is the 5th one and this is the 6th one. So 6 times is always a good spot. You can do less, you can do more, depending on how much you want the wrap to show on the base. So the next thing I want to do here is, now that the wrap is on the right, I want to separate my natural hair into 2 equal sections because I'm going to transition into my passion twist. So for the wrapping piece, one thing you want to make sure is that because we are wrapping to the left, you don't want to add this wrapping piece to the left hand side. If you add it to the left hand side and you wrap to the left, the wrapping piece is going to unravel. So for the wrapping piece, one thing you want to do is when you go underneath 6 times, you need to add this wrapping piece back to the right hand side so that when you twist to the left, it holds it down. If you want to twist to the right, the only thing you need to do here is you need to make sure that your coil pattern aligns to the right. And then when you wrap to the right. So when you wrap, if you are going to twist to the right and you wrap to the right, your wrapping piece will not be attached to the right. Your wrapping piece will be attached to the opposite direction of where you're wrapping, so it's to the left. But because we are going to twist to the left, our wrapping piece is going to be attach to the right, because that's the opposite direction to lock down the strap that we just did. Next thing here you want to do is you want to apply a little bit of gel to your natural hair. If your hair is afro, kinky hair, make sure you blow dry your hair before you start this passion twist process. The next thing we want to do is start our twist to the left, because our curl pattern is to the left. So I'm going to push my hand, use my index finger to push this, and I'll go twist to the left, to the left. So the twist has to be done loosely. So I'm twisting to the left. As you twist, try as much as possible to hide the hair in between the twists. As you walk your way down, you can add your hair mousse as well. When you start getting all these tangled effects, please be generous with your hair mousse when you're creating passion twist, because the hair mousse is what will help you walk through the synthetic hair. Because the passion twist hair is usually synthetic, except if you're using human hair. But most times you may be using synthetic hair, so your hair mousse will help you through the tangled knots on the synthetic hair. So as you can see, I'm not holding down firmly as I'm twisting. I'm literally creating a very loose twist. I'm twisting in the direction of the curl. This is what gives your passion twist that bouncy look. When you start getting to the end where it gets more rough, make sure you use your hair mousse just to smoothen it out before you continue your twisting. You can see my hand, I'm not twisting down tightly. I'm literally making a very loose twist, just twisting in the direction of the curl. This is the secret to that signature bouncy passion twist, guys. So make sure that the twist is really loose. Make sure that you're twisting in the same direction of the curl. Again, if you don't know how to align the direction of the curl, please watch our video on how to create the bouncy passion twist. We explain everything there. If you like to twist to the right, we explain how to make sure that the curl is in the same pattern to the right. If you like to twist to the left, we also explain how to make sure that the curl is to the left before twisting. That's the key to getting a very bouncy passion twist. So when you get to the end, just twirl with your fingers, and if you have excess ends here, you can just trim it. See how bouncy, juicy it is. The base is wrapped, looking nice and firm. So this is how you do the wrap method for passion twist. So the next method I'm going to show you here is the braiding method. So the method where you braid to about 1 inch, you do your 3-strand regular traditional single braid to about 1 inch with the extension, and then you transition into a twist. So to do that, I will take 1 strand of my passion twist, make sure they're in the same direction as well. As you can see, this is slanted to the left, so we're twisting to the left. Again, if you want details of this, please go watch our video on how to create bouncy passion twist. So now I have created it into a 3-strand basically. The next thing I want to do is I want to divide this into 3 sections, hold one part with this, and then I would hold the remaining 2 parts with this. So watch me as I do this. I would hold the left side to the left side of the extension and the middle side to the middle. Then I want to cross. You cross like you're doing a regular braid. You cross the middle strand to the left, left strand to the right, and right strand to the middle. So I'm just going to braid like I would normally braid. You apply your hair mousse as needed. If it's getting tangled, hair mousse would help you through this process because the hair is synthetic. So we're going to do second braid. Make sure it's firm to the roots. You can tug through the natural hair just to make sure it's firm. I'll do my third braid. I braid 4 times. So now when we braid 4 times, we would have our 2-strand back on the left side and our 2-strand back on the right side. That's the goal. We want to achieve our 2 strands back on each side. So that's why we have to braid 4 times. Then after we achieve that, make sure you're still holding down on this middle. Then we want to transition into our twist. We twist this a little bit to the left. See what I'm doing here? Twist this 2 strand a little bit to the left, and then hold here like this, and then start twisting. So after we've transitioned, start creating our loose twist. When doing passion twist, you don't want to create tight twist, because what gives passion twist that bouncy look is the loose twist. So as you braid, you can apply a little bit of gel on the natural hair just to make sure it stays flat in the middle of the twist. So we just continue twisting loosely. The key here is loose twist. You don't want to ever twist tightly when you're doing passion twist. Be very generous with your hair mousse. Use your fingers to work your way through, and then twist very loosely, very loosely. You don't want it to be tight, because if you twist tightly, you lose the bouncy texture of the extension, and the bouncy texture of the passion twist is what gives it that signature, nice looking, fluffy, juicy. I like to call passion twist juicy because when you do it right, the only word you can think about is juicy. It just looks nice. It just looks very bouncy and fluffy. Only when you do it right though. This is how it looks like, and you see how we transitioned from braid to twist. I showed you how I divided the natural hair into 3 and I braided 4 times. So when you braid 4 times, then you can now easily transition into your twist. Hopefully that makes sense. I walked you through the wrapping technique to start passion twist. I walked you through the braid technique to start passion twist. Now I'm going to walk you through the rubber band technique. This technique is a very interesting technique because normally you can start twist from the root, but because the texture of passion twist hair is very soft, I do not recommend directly starting your passion twist with a twist, because when you do that, it could slip off, especially if the hair is straight like this. If you literally start the base with a regular twist without doing the rubber band, best believe that your passion twist is going to last about 1 week. It's just going to slip off the root. So if you're going to use a twist method to start your passion twist, you need an anchor on the base, and the anchor in this case is your rubber band. The anchor in the case of the wrapping method is your wrap. The anchor in the case of the braid method is your braid. So the anchor in the case of this twist method is your rubber band. But the disadvantage of this method is that the elastic band can pull your hair, it can break your hair. So if you're going to use this method, one thing you should do is make sure to apply oil on the band. Make sure that it's not dry, because if it's dry, it can literally cut your hair, and you don't want that. You want to maintain the integrity of your hair while doing a protective style. Passion twist is meant to be a protective style. It's meant to protect and not meant to damage your hair. So make sure that you've oiled your rubber band, and then insert the rubber band on the roots to create that anchor. So you take this around multiple times until the roots is properly anchored. So when you feel like it's properly anchored, you can push through, make sure it's firm enough. So the next thing you want to do here is take your crochet. I'm gonna put my extension in here, close the latch, and then I'm going to pull through, pull down the left side while you pull out your right hand strand. The next thing you want to do is to make sure that the lengths of the 4 strands are equal. If you have any one longer, you need to adjust accordingly. So the next thing you want to do is you're gonna apply your hair mousse on the strand just to make sure it's ready for the twist. After you apply your hair mousse, then you go to the natural hair, separate it into 2. You add one to this right side, add one to the left side, then you transition into your twist, your left hand twist. Remember, the anchor here was your rubber band. If you were doing twist with kinky extension or regular straight extension, you can actually do this twist without the rubber band technique. Make sure that you use your gel on the strand so that it lays flat in between while you create your loose twist. Make sure the twist is as loose as possible. As you walk your way down, apply your gel on the natural hair so it lays flat while you're twisting. I cannot overemphasize this. You cannot create this bouncy passion twist if you're twisting tightly. It has to be twisted loosely. So extra strands like this on the tips, just trim so it doesn't tangle. Use your hair moves when you get to the tip just to moisturize it and make sure it's not tangled. Continue twisting loosely in the direction of the coral pattern. And of course, when you get to the end, you can just twirl the ends with your fingers. And there you have it, your bouncy passion twist with your rubber band method.
And this is basically how it looks like. We have the wrapping method, the braid method, and the rubber band method. I showed you how to create this clean passion twist look using these 3 different methods. If this video helped you in any way, please give us a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, share this video with your friends. Let me know if you have any question about any of the techniques that I showed you here today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.